Well, it is Sunday, and I have not been on here for a while. I have not made a video or post. I've just been going through some things. My health has not been the greatest, but me and baby boy are doing better now, and we're getting better now. And as you see, I don't have my bonnet on, and so I'm making steps to get better. I was supposed to be going to Chicago this week to do residency, but I don't think that's going to happen, especially with the TSA stuff, and then just not being able to afford it. Um, and just making sure I be here for my kids and just other stuff that's going on. So I'm trying to do everything from home as far as that, so I don't get behind or get put out. But I've always said what's meant for me is meant for me, and if it's meant for me to be a counselor, I will definitely finish school and be a counselor. But some things that we're talking about, it's like the LGBTQ plus. So we're looking at like the kids demographics, and I associated this with trauma because when I was in school, I mean, we knew who was gay and who was straight, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm non-binary, or you know I'm a. It wasn't like all of these terms that they have now. Um, and so it's confusing because I don't know what half of them means. Um, like cisgender, it just means you're straight. I'm like, why we can't just say heterosexual? Like, if I'm born a female and I identify as a female, that's what cisgender means. I had no clue what that means until I started doing this for school. So it's definitely a learning curve, and I think a lot of kids that are, feeling that they're LGBTQ, or not, or feel that they are something other than what they identify with or how they were born, it's hard for them, and they get bullied a lot, they get left out a lot, um, because a lot of people aren't accepting, especially the older generation. Um, because when I was growing up, I mean, if you was gay, it wasn't like projected. What you did behind your closed doors, behind your closed door, like people knew, but it wasn't like as flamboyant where I grew up. Like I'm pretty sure in other places, I think they do like drag queen shows and all that. People could be more themselves. But where I grew up, it was kind of like, okay, so that's what you are. What you do and who you do is your business. Now it's kind of like, wham. It's like in the kids shows, so they're trying to make it more accessible to each their own. I'm not knocking how anybody feel, how they identify. Um, I just like to be in the know because as a future counselor, I don't want to. They get so upset. Some people when you don't identify them right, but that's so I like to ask because if you're a male and you feel you're a female and you've been through trauma, and I keep calling you sir or male because that's what I see, then I'm assuming that that's what you are, and I don't want to make assumptions. That's not right of me to make assumptions. Um, so learning about that and learning how to, properly let people be in a safe space because in counseling we don't judge, and I mean I don't judge either. The background that I grew up in, I don't judge. We always say God is the judge. People always say that being gay is a sin, but that's not the only sin that's listed in the Bible. It's also drunkards, thieves, greedy people, people that don't have natural affection for one another. So it's a big plethora of things that can be a sin. So God looks at the person and not the sin. Because some people go out here and get drunk, but then they turn their lives around. Or they're out here and be addicts, and then they turn their lives around. So he looks at you and not your sin, if that makes sense. And so we can't say as humans, oh, you're not going to make it, and God doesn't love you because of how you identify, especially to somebody that's been through trauma for being who they are. We're not in a place to say that. And I say that because in the Bible, he says, I don't like the acts of it, but he never said he doesn't love the person. And we don't know what type of relationship that person has with God. We don't know. They can pray, they can be the best, but we don't know. That's not our business to know. Um, so I think to kind of help with the trauma, I don't have a lot of experience in that group. So my focus is going to be like on kids and men. But if somebody, if I'm working with a teenager and they say, hey, I feel like I want to come out, then it's my job as a counselor to give them that safe space, whether I agree with how they living or not. So I just feel like the trauma from that rolls over into adulthood, and then they they especially when they're not accepted or they're coming out doesn't come as well with their parents or foster parents or whoever they're coming out to. That makes a big difference, and it can cause grief, which can lead to substance abuse. It can lead to drinking. It can lead to just being out there and just making bad decisions because they don't have that safe space to be who they are. So, my goal as a counselor is to always to be there to create that safe space, always to be there to make them feel at home. I'm taking a quiz at the same time, so I'm doing two things, but I just wanted to hop on here. Um, Real quick. It's just that I know my babies are going through school in a time where things that was not talked about when I went to school is talked about. Like we knew people. I mean, I had family members that's gay, but I didn't know who they was doing it to until unless people put it out there. That's their business. I mean, I just feel like sometimes social media and sometimes people put so much out of their business out there that when they get judged, they don't know how to take it because everything, and this is just my honest, humble opinion, everything is not meant for social media. Everything is not meant for Facebook. It's not meant for TikTok. Because when you put yourself in an open platform, even when I do my videos, I am opening myself for people to critique me. And I'm opening myself for people to say things I'm not going to agree with. And I'm opening myself up for people to send me hate comments. Because some people just don't like you or what you're talking about and they don't know how to tell you or just scroll or keep on moving. So they're going to leave hate comments. They're going to rage bait you into having this discussion and da da da. But and people get upset, but I have learned people can't hurt you about what they don't know. I'm married, but I'm not up here telling you every detail about my husband, our intercourse life. I'm not telling you about our arguments. I'm not telling you nothing about my husband. Just that I got one. He exists. That's it. And I just feel like when you come out and you talk about stuff on a platform, that opens up, and that can cause trauma. That can cause PTSD. That can lead to people getting depressed. That can lead because you're taking what a stranger's saying to you to heart, and mentally it's messing with you because you was like, oh, I just want people to know, I want to be aware and bring awareness, which people should be aware and they should be more tolerable of how other people choose to live. As as long as it's not affecting them, they should be like, okay, hey, do you. But some people are not like that. Some people are just downright nasty. They mean, they're hateful, and they're going to say stuff. And when you just read negative and you put yourself out there and all you get is rage bait and negative, then your mental health is going to plummet because that's all you see, and you subconsciously is keeping all that in your mind. So if you go on, you're like, what, I ain't gonna let that worry me. Some point it's gonna come back up when you're by yourself, when you out, when somebody approaches you. So you have to be able to find a way to handle those comments in a way, because I follow some content creators and I like them, and some of them have lifestyles of homosexuality. They're married. Some of men are married to men. I mean, I like their cooking videos, or like sometimes they do shopping videos. I'm like, I'm taking recipes and I'm taking notes because some of these men know how to decorate. Now, am I finna leave hate comments? Now, if I see on there and you You're doing stuff that I don't agree with. I'm not gonna like it. I'm not gonna heart it. I'm just gonna scroll because I'm not gonna go and out my way to mess up your day because I don't like what you're doing. What you're doing is not affecting my life. So I really want to work with these kids, but especially those who get bullied, those who get teased, those who get left out. And they don't even have to be part of the community. I got bullied because I was overweight. And now, oh, they love big girls. BBW is it. Get you a big girl. But I got bullied in school because I was a big girl. Because I was a big girl. So, and I'm still the same. I'm still chunky monkey. Except I got a baby. So, and that does. People don't realize how much. And then we had MySpace. I think MySpace had just came out. But people couldn't really get to you because you had to dial up and all that. Now, social media is everywhere. These kids can't escape it. And kids that bully comes adults that bully. So guess what? When you go to work, you get bullied. Because society has people thinking things are only supposed to go one way. And things are supposed to be done one way. So, it really bothers me that people can be grown at a big old age and still be trying to bully somebody. And I'm like, why? Like, what rise do you get out of bullying somebody and making them feel bad about themselves? So, I had to learn that. My husband's like, when you go on here, just be prepared. And I am. I am prepared because at the end of the day, I always say it's my opinion. It's my opinion. If you don't like it, we can agree to disagree, but don't be ugly. Because I'm not going to be ugly. I'm not going to call you out. None of that. Because I'm working on my spiritual side. I'm working on my counseling side. I have kids to raise. And I have to keep my mental health together for them. So I just wanted to come on here and just drop that. Just sometimes you don't never know what somebody going to. So don't be a bully. Don't be a subconscious bully. Sometimes you have to really watch what you say because you don't know what they're already going through in their back life anyway. So I just want, just to bring awareness to that. That will help with some of that grief and trauma and stuff that people are going through because mental health is real. People are struggling mentally to just get out of the bed. So don't make it worse for somebody. Be a reason somebody like, okay, you know what? I'm okay getting out of the bed today. I think I can handle it today. But don't do that. Don't be the reason why somebody feels like that there's time for them to give up. I hope y'all have a great night.